What's there, everybody? It's Jace here from Film Fanatic Productions. Thank you all so much for coming to the channel today. So today, we're continuing my ongoing series where I watch every Disney classic film for the anticipation of the Walt Disney Company's 100th anniversary this year. And so this is episode 6, and we're watching today SALUDOS, AMIGOS. Now this one is the 6th film in the Disney classic film series. And if you guys didn't see the last one I did, I actually reacted to Bambi. So if you guys haven't seen that one or any of my other ones, you can check the card above in the corner, and I hope you guys enjoy those. So today, we are watching, like I said before, Saludos Amigos. Now this one actually began sort of like a little new era for the Walt Disney Studios, because this is also, this film was produced, basically from the onset, basically was produced during World War II, after the U.S. entered it, and even thereafter. This one obviously was released in late 1942, early 1943, so obviously right in the middle of World War II. And like I said before, this actually heavily affected the Walt Disney Company a lot, and it limited what they can make, how long they can make it too. As we'll see in this one, this will be the shortest one we actually do in this series, only 42 minutes long. This film, so a far cry from the over 2 hours of Pinocchio, the longest one I think it was. So this is only 42 minutes, so it's quite a short one too. And this one is actually the first one we've watched in the series that I actually have not seen yet. So this is going to be, plus the next one you're going to see too, like the Three Caballeros, Make My Music, Fun, Fancy Free, Melody Time. Those ones I have not seen. So we're entering kind of an uncharted area for these reactions. So these are truly reactions for me because I've never seen before. But these ones, turning to Saludos Amigos now, this one looks like just from the poster, it looks like it stars Goofy and Donald Duck, so some of the people we know and love from Disney too. But as I said before, I have not seen this one, so we're basically going into this one blind. But I just wanted to say before this video that this one did have, for terms of crew, it had Norman Ferguson was directed, Winfred Jackson, Jack Kinney, Hamilton, Lukes, Bill Roberts, and the story was by a whole lot of people, too many ones to say, at least 5 or 6, at least almost 10 of them actually too. But it obviously was produced by Walt Disney. And this one stars Lee Blair, Mary Blair, Pinto, Kovic. Actually, looks like it stars Walt Disney too, so I'm excited to see what that has about, that Walt Disney's in this film too. But yeah, and also the music in this one's by Paul Smith and Edward Plum, and as I said before, it's only 42 minutes long. But without getting too much into it, let's jump right into Saludos Amigos. So this film, Saludos Amigos, is actually very unique in the Walt Disney animated classic series, as this is kind of actually 4 movies into one, which I guess kind of going to be a little bit of Fantasia in the way that they did little animated sequences for different musical sections. This one is more based on different countries in Latin America and South America too. Now this one actually when it was being developed, was actually started being a trip that Walt Disney, and as well as some of his animators and some of his composers and many other people that associate with the company, they took to South America, and they basically went to different countries there, such as Brazil, such as Argentina, and Chile, so they can basically learn about the culture and also meet different kinds of music, different kinds of ideas, different kinds of art, and things like that too. And that actually kind of inspired the work on this film, because this is the first 4 sequences that go into this film, and the first one we see is kind of where Donald Duck visits Lake Titicaca in Bolivia and Peru, and it actually is a pretty little fun sequence I really did enjoy with Donald Duck. You know, everyone knows the kind of personality Donald Duck has, and his kind of personality really comes out in this first segment. I really did enjoy it, and also I did love the little friendship he had with the Yama in this first segment, and it's actually a nice fun sequence too. And but this one's actually pretty just not detailedly animated per se, and mostly just regular Donald Duck animation, nothing too ambitious in terms of the animation. But then the second we saw was actually kind of a new kind of content, where we saw it was about this little plane called Pedro, which is basically about a mama plane, a daddy plane, and a little plane called Pedro, and basically where Pedro has to basically deliver this mail, since his father is sick and his mother can't do it. So he basically has to overcome these obstacles, deliver air mail, I should say, from Santiago, Chile to Mendoza. And it actually was actually a pretty fun sequence with actually some crazy like sound design sequences with thunderstorms when he's flying and these heavy storms too. Also some of these huge sprawling backgrounds of the mountains and the Andes and stuff like that. But also, it's also fun to note that throughout this entire film, we see actually it cuts between the trip, some of the video they actually took during the trip of Walt Disney and his animators, and but what they experienced too, and then it pairs that with some of the drawings, the initial drawings that they took, and with some of the initial ideas for these 4 films, which I really did like, was a pretty cool experience to see. Given this is over 80-year-old footage, and I just love seeing old colorized footage, and just really gives you an idea of what their lives are like so many decades ago, which I really loved. And the next part, the third one, is actually, it's called El Gacho Goofy, and this one basically they take Goofy, as everyone knows Goofy, from Texas, and puts him into Argentina, and makes them basically gacho, which is kind of the equivalent in Argentina of the cowboy culture that they have. And actually, this one's a really fun one too. This one has a lot of heart, a lot of humor. And actually, one thing that I really did like was there's this one sequence where he's riding his trusty steed, and he basically he's chasing, I think it was an ostrich, I believe it was, and he he basically lassos him. Then the narrator actually he reverses it, and we get a slow motion animation too, the entire the chase of the ostrich, and also it also does a fast forward to the end kind of too, and that actually was pretty cool because I think that might have been the first. That's the earliest slow motion animation I've seen from Walt Disney. Might be one earlier that I'm not aware of. But yeah, that was actually really cool, and a cool piece of animation that I really did enjoy. So El Gacho was one that was really that I really did enjoy, and classic Goofy himself. And the final one, which I think is probably the most impactful one, is the one where Donald Duck meets Jose Caracoa, which is basically a parrot. There's this green parrot that before they make this parrot, they start on a blank page, and then they just animate Donald Duck, and all around they're animating these cool parts of the Brazilian flora and fauna, and which is really nice too. And then they obviously say how much in Brazil, I believe, they use parrots in some films they had during that time. They basically recreate him for Walt Disney, for the Walt Disney film. And actually, I really love Jose Carioca too. He's kind of like this, the cigar smoking, all white suit, white hat kind of parrot. And he's a really nice character. I really did enjoy him too. And I believe this one he was so popular. Actually, this is really the part where the audiences really wanted a sequel. So I think this is kind of the most important part that ushered in, that allowed the Three Caballeros to be released a few years later down the road. But we'll have to get to that one whenever I do watch that one, because I actually have not seen that one either. So I'd be very interesting to see too, because I'm glad, because I really did enjoy those characters in this last one too, and also the watercolors, the way they do this too, and also some of the scenes they do too, with Jose introducing him to samba. And there's a lot of cool, the little cool dance scenes with silhouettes that look pretty nice too. And I do think this last one was my favorite. Also had some great songs, great stuff all around, which I think really did make the film actually a really enjoyable experience. Even though it was only about 42 minutes long, which is, I would say, the shortest Walt Disney animated classic film. But going on beyond the film, this one actually was actually nominated for some awards. Looks like it was nominated for the Academy Awards, at least, for Best Score in Musical Picture, for Best Original Song, and Best Sound Recording. And I think because the music for this Talos song, "Los Amigos," was made by Charles Wolcott, and the new lyrics were done by Ned Washington, which, if you guys don't know, he also helped write "When You Wish Upon a Star" from Pinocchio too, which is actually very cool, and I'm sure that how prolific Ned Washington was in the early parts of the Walt Disney Company's animated film sequence. That was fun too to see. And yeah, this film, I think overall it's one a little kind of a hidden gem. I think I do think that too, because I really haven't seen too much of SALUDOS AMIGOS, at least in popular culture, at least in Disney wise, and most stuff. Basically this kind of era that we're starting to watch now, from the mid 40s, basically during World War II, into the late part of 1940s, was really a forgotten era in the Walt Disney Company too, because these films, like SALUDOS AMIGOS, Three Caballeros, Fun, Fancy, and Free, Make My Music, they really were kind of a lost era, and it wasn't until Cinderella that people, that audiences started to go back out to the theaters in a big way, and we really connected with these characters. Also, these production value of these productions that the Walt Disney made, mostly because of World War II and some restrictions they had in terms of not just manpower, but also just funding too, because also it was a kind of a turbulent economic time too for the Walt Disney Company. But I really did enjoy SALUDOS AMIGOS too, and I really hope you guys go more into depth and read more about how it was developed and made, because it's really interesting stuff about how it was made, and also the role that even that the U.S. government had in helping him finance this film. Actually, something interesting about. All right then, so that was SALUDOS AMIGOS, the 6th film in our ongoing series to watch every single Disney classic film for the Walt Disney Company's 100th anniversary this year. Hope you guys enjoy that. I know I did. And next film we have coming up will be the Three Caballeros, which will be coming to you guys just in a few weeks' time, if not sooner. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned for my other videos and watch our other videos in this series as well. Hope you guys have a great day. And always remember, become a film fanatic.